What's up, y'all? My name is Kev and I'm back at y'all with another video. Today I'm going to go ahead and dissect cooking inside of anime. This is a new series that I'm going to start because I've seen it pop up a lot on YouTube where people dissect things or they go over how it works in their specific industry. And because I love anime so much, I decided to do something like that for anime. And the only thing that I really know outside of anime is cooking. Now, a little bit of backstory. I have been in the restaurant industry for about 6 years now. I'm only 23, so it's not a whole lot of time in the industry, but I've bumped shoulders with people who've been in the industry for 20 to 25 plus years. People who have worked at high-end steak restaurants, people who have worked in sushi restaurants, and people who have worked in banquet halls and places all over. I've worked with people who have been in school for it, who have just done it for 20 years, and I picked up quite a bit of knowledge in my time doing it. Not enough to say that I'm a professional, but certainly enough to say that I could probably tell you guys a few things here or there. So I decided to take my knowledge and impart it onto you guys, and I want to go over some cooking inside of anime and help you guys understand how it works in the real life and if it's possible in real life. And let's get into it. So the first scene that we're going to go ahead and go over is a scene in an anime called Shokugeki no Soma. So we're going to go ahead and break down a couple of cooking scenes from this anime. So what he's doing is he is taking potatoes and he is steaming them to where they're soft, and then he's mushing them, and when he mushes them he mixes it with a little bit of garlic, and it looks like maybe some sauteed onion if I'm watching it right from the animation. So it looks like he had sauteed onion and sauteed garlic, and he just kind of mixed it up a little bit, threw the potatoes in there, got them nice and coated so that way they kind of absorb the flavor, because potatoes are a very absorbent starch, so they will absorb a lot of flavor. Then he mashed it up, and then he threw some salt in there, and then he kind of packed it and used a little bit of rosemary on the outside, so when it baked, the rosemary baked into it. Alright, so in this scene, she actually is saying exactly what I just said, whereas potatoes are a very absorbent starch, and he wrapped bacon around the potato loaf, in a sense. And then he used twine to keep it tied together so that way when it baked, the bacon would crisp up and suck it down to the point that, because meat shrinks when it cooks, so it sucks down and it tightens everything up. And so what happens is all the juice from that bacon, all of it, will just soak into the potato. So the potato will be really moist, it'll have a lot of flavor, it'll be really fatty, it'll have really good notes of meat in it, and then the bacon on top of that will just have a really crisp texture.
じゃがいもをホクホクにふかしたものに油を吸いやすい繊維質のキノコ、それに甘みを増す玉ねぎを刻んで練り込んである。それに厚切りベーコンをぐるりと巻きつけ、オーブンでじっくり焼き上げる。するとベーコンは外側がカリカリになり、じゃがいもやキノコが豚の旨味と油を全て吸って受け止める。そして外はカリッカリ、中はジューシーな官能的な食感が生まれる。
So one of the things that I really love about this anime is that it's very knowledgeable in what it's talking about, and it has great animation and fantastic colors to go along with what they're saying. In this scene, he's basically explaining to her how he made this pork roast, even though it's not a pork roast, it's like an imitation pork roast. As he's explaining it to her, he also touches on something else that's pretty popular in cooking. He took some sake, which is their version of rice wine, and then he put some sweet and soy sauce and some butter into it. And what that does is, alcohol as a whole is really awesome to use in cooking because it starts to thicken itself up. Well, the more you cook the alcohol out, the more that the sugars inside of the alcohol start to release and thicken itself. And then once you add in some butter and some soy sauce, it actually starts to create its own thickening. Like, it starts to thicken up on its own. You don't have to put any cornstarch, no flour, no sugar, nothing. Like, there's nothing that you really have to put in to thicken it because it thickens itself. And then cook it down, and before you know it, you have a glaze that's made all for your, like, you don't have to do anything to make this glaze. And so he puts that over top of the bacon and the potatoes, and it just seeps down into all of it, and it just creates a really nice flavor and glaze inside and outside of the meal. So I've never made anybody's clothes come off with my cooking. I've gotten a lot of compliments on my cooking. I've had a lot of people tell me that it's really good. I've had a lot of people try to take my food home instead of like eating it. But I've never once had anybody's clothes just explode off. If I had that kind of power, I would use it very irresponsibly. I would be making food all the time, just shoving it in people's mouth, watching their clothes explode. I'm very immature. But yeah, so cooking, I mean, if you taste really good food, it can very much feel sensualizing because that's what it does. I mean, food releases dopamines in the brain, and that's why people crave chocolate all the time when they're sad, because it helps release dopamine, it helps make you feel better. And that's why people usually eat when they're stressed, because it just calms the body down. So yes, eating really good food can be sensual. Not as sensual as that, but it can make you happy. Man. Alright, y'all, so that'll wrap it up for this dissection of episode 1 of Shokugeki no Soma. If you like this new series, please be sure to let me know in the comment section by telling me how much you like it. If there's an anime that you want me to dissect the cooking in, please let me know in the comment section. That'll do it for me, y'all. I'm Kev and I'm out. Peace.
You ain't really want me, you wanted to play me. Talking about some babies, you driving me crazy, yeah. You wanted to feel good at the time, for what? You say that you love being mine, for what? Show me off to your friends, for what, for what? Just to let me go, that hurt, it cut. Oh no, 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 girl, you did me like they did you. Tryna find it, it felt like you meant to. You got these feelings, who they geared to. You acting like you scared to tell me.